Have you ever wanted to be the most highly respected trainer in the Pokemon universe? The most powerful Pokemon trainer of an entire region. To be one of the most iconic Pokemon characters in the franchise. I should have. So instead of actually playing through a Pokemon game and beating the Pokemon League, I decided I'd write a fanfiction about me becoming the Pokemon champion. Why hello there, my name is Arkthepenguin. I have recently been seeing a lot of if I was blank Pokemon videos, and I wanted to go at one. Since I'm basically the smartest video game YouTuber on YouTube, I thought I'd assert my dominance and make if I was the Pokemon champion. So before we actually get into my team, I want to discuss everything else surrounding my personal Pokemon League. So the first thing I want to discuss is which region I will be the champion of, and the region I will reign supreme in is all of them. I'm the best one. I'm better than Cynthia, I'm better than Tobias, and everybody's better than Ash, so I'm gonna reign supreme. I'm the best one of them all. I'm the best one. But my actual Pokemon League is going to be in Kalos, because Kalos is Kalos, and Kalos is Kalos, and Kalos is amazing, and Kalos is amazing, and amazing is Kalos, and I'm gonna, I like Kalos. But I also chose Kalos because of the simple reason that it's just the most beautiful region in terms of visuals, in terms of the vibrant colors, interesting locations, and most importantly, the music. And yes, I am aware that whenever I'm walking across Route 15, I'm not actually going to hear the theme, but a man can dream. The next thing to discuss is the theme of my Pokemon League, which will be time. I chose time for no particular deep reason, I just thought it sounded cool. Some of the decorations will include clocks, hourglasses, and the biggest attraction being a giant moving diagram on the ceiling of the time according to the position of the sun. After every Elite Four battle, the sun moves from 8 AM as a reference to the sundial in the Kalos region until it reaches 8 PM, which indicates that it is time for a champion battle. And the final thing I want to talk about before we actually get into me as the champion is who are my Elite Four and what are their teams? I noticed that a lot of people actually chose gym leaders to be their Elite Four, and while it's a cool idea, I decided to go the less predictable route. Instead of choosing gym leaders for my Elite Four, I made my Elite Four the other 4 members of Spectrum, a group comedy channel that I run with 4 other people, hence why I said the other 4 members of Spectrum. In Spectrum, we each have our own color that we are associated with to help differentiate us, and because we are called Spectrum because of 2 reasons. Reason number 1, the color spectrum, and 2, we're all on the spectrum, which means we're all autistic. If you like autistic people, go watch Spectrum. Link in the description. As I go over the members, I will say what color they are associated with, and no, the color that they are associated with does not determine what type they are a master in, I guess. A master that they major in, like a college course. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Every Pokemon each Elite Four member has represents something about them themselves, a role in a video they had, or just simply because they like that Pokemon. They also have 5 Pokemon each. So the first member of the Elite Four you will fight is the green member of Spectrum, Christian. And no, just because he's the green member, that doesn't mean he's going to have a grass-type team, as I stated before. Instead, I decided to give Christian a primarily fighting-type team to coincide with his love of debates, and also as a reference to that one scene in my Oblivion review. You walk up to him and he says, "Hey broski, I was supposed to give you life advice or something like that, but I gotta pick up my Taco Bell before it closes, so let's just get this out of the way." And the fight begins. His first Pokemon will be a Medicham to represent Christian's debate side, because of its additional psychic typing. After you defeat his Medicham, he sends out his Crabominable. He has a Crabominable to represent his love of unpopular things, such as Dragon Age, Empire of Sin, and like me, the Amazing Spider-Man. Those movies are amazing, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because Crabominal isn't really the best defensive Pokemon, you'll more than likely defeat it very quickly, but then you'll have to beat his bulky Throw, who is a reference to that one time Christian almost took up wrestling, but then later decided against it. And yes, I am aware that Throw is based on Pseudo, but I don't care because he looks like a wrestler, so therefore he is a wrestler because my opinion is the only opinion that matters. Please don't take that seriously, that was a joke. His fourth Pokemon is funnily enough going to be one of my absolute least favorite Pokemon, Machamp. The reason he's getting a Machamp is actually the reason I hate it so much, which is because of this game. Basically, I had been playing the game a lot, blah blah blah. Christian came over to my house and we played it, blah blah blah. This was his first time playing, blah blah blah. He chose Machamp, blah blah blah. He beat me 16-1, blah blah. And that is my reasoning to why I hate Machamp. And after you defeat his Machamp, his final Pokemon will be his all-time favorite Pokemon, Emboar. I know Emboar gets a lot of hate, and while I agree with a lot of its criticism, specifically Pignite, I still find it underrated. The next member of Spectrum to Elite Forify is Connor, the orange member. Connor will be a Steel-type trainer to represent both his very high pain tolerance and his thick skin. And by thick skin, I don't mean literal thick skin, I mean his impressive ability to deflect all insults thrown at him. When you enter the room, he says, "Oh hey, I've been waiting for a while. I guess I'm ready to battle whenever you are." His first Pokemon will be Aegislash to coincide with his role in an upcoming Spectrum video, which will have a fantasy setting. Once his Aegislash faints, then he sends out Pokemon number 2, which will be Connor's fierce Scizor. He has a Scizor because he's quite a fan of Marvel, and Scizor highly resembles Iron Man. After Scizor goes down, his third pocket monster, Lucario, is sent out into battle. 1, look at it, and 2, one of its dex entries states that it can detect emotion from miles away, much like how Connor can read the room very easily. Next up is his trusty Cinderace. Please hear me out. Connor is a massive soccer fan. In fact, at one point, if not still, he wants to be a professional soccer player. And he has a pet rabbit that he loves very much named Baymax. So if you combine those two things and add fire, I feel like I don't even need to say the next line. I feel like I've already gotten my point across. Cinderace is literally, it's just Connor's Pokemon. After Cinderace goes down, his fifth and final Pokemon will be sent out. His favorite Pokemon, Aggron. Once you've defeated Connor, he says, "Oh, well you look at that, I guess you can move on to fight Isaac." Now deciding what type of the purple member Isaac would major in was a bit hard. I originally considered the fighting type because most of his favorite Pokemon are fighting types, and I also considered the flying type since Isaac's mood is always sky high. Get it? But I ended up going with the ground type because he is very grounded and down to earth. As you enter the room, he says, "Get out, Kai!" Oh, it's you. My bad, I thought you were my brother. So you must have beaten Christian and Connor. Let's see if you can beat me too. So let's start out with his first ground type member, Swampert. I gave Isaac a Swampert for 2 reasons. The first being the fact that it is his favorite water type Pokemon, but also because Swampert can always successfully predict the weather, just like Isaac is somehow always able to do. Because Swampert is 4 times weak to grass, it'll more than likely go down pretty quickly, but after you beat Swampert, he will send out Garchomp to reference Isaac's speed since it flies around at high speeds. After Garchomp falls, team member number 3 will be sent out, Mamoswine, which he will use to deliver his special spray to his worthless customers, which you will need to watch this video for context. His fourth Pokemon will be Flygon, which is just an amazingly designed ground-type dragon. I was considering giving him a Braviary to coincide with his love of Captain America, but I ultimately went with Flygon since it's an actual ground-type. After you faint Flygon, he sends out his favorite Pokemon of all time. Maybe he's having a hard time deciding between this Pokemon and Infernape, but Crocodile. And once Crocodile falls, Isaac says, "Oh crap, well now you can beat my brother Kai." Good luck! Kai, the red member of Spectrum, will command fire types. This was the hardest team to make since most of Kai's favorite Pokemon aren't fire type. Some of his favorite Pokemon include Ditto, Dedenne, Dugtrio, Raichu, oh my god. And his personal favorite Pokemon, Blastoise. And before all of you are like, "Oh, why don't you make his team electric type or normal type or water type?" Please hear me out. The fire type is perfect for Kai. Kai is almost always fired up and full of energy, and he rages. As you enter his room, he slowly turns around with a large grin, waving his arms about and says Pika Pika, and sends out his first Pokemon. His first Pokemon will be Arcanine, who is a Gen 1 fire type, and Kai automatically loves anything from Gen 1, if you couldn't already tell. He sends out his second Pokemon after you beat Arcanine, and for that Pokemon, I am giving him a Darmanitan to represent his personality in our old Nerf videos. Third is Magcargo, because Kai has a pet snail in his room that his younger brother owns. Since Magcargo is 4 times weak to water, you'll beat it pretty fast. But not his next Pokemon, Incineroar. I gave him an Incineroar because cats are known to drink milk, and Kai played one of the main characters in our sketch called Chocolate Milk. And his final Pokemon will also be his ace, Volcarona. Kai was bitten by a Black Widow whenever he was 2, and Volcarona is the closest thing that we have to a Fire-type Black Widow. Once you've defeated Kai, the anagram reaches 8 p.m., and the doors to the champion's room open. The doors to Greg. My name's not Greg, by the way. That's what I'm naming my room. My room's name is Greg, because that's my room's name in real life. The room that I will be in is going to be the top of a clock tower, which you can see all of Kalos from. You walk into Greg and see me, Dallas, the Pokemon champion. I say while looking out, wow, this is so much cooler than Johto. Oh, why hello there, my name's Arkthepenguin. As you can clearly see, I'm the champion, and so therefore better than you. So allow me to prove my superiority by beating you in a Pokemon battle. And I release the first member of my team. Now, I will say that my team is not just going to be my top 6 favorite Pokemon, but essentially my dream team if I was a Pokemon trainer. My first team member is going to be my Unwavering, who is without question, in my opinion, the best Dragon-type Pokemon. First off, it looks amazing. The colors of purple, black, red, and electric blue look fantastic on it. Plus, its high speed and special attack would make it a lot of fun to use. And even though its origins aren't as interesting as other Pokemon, I personally don't think that origins are as important whenever it comes to choosing a Pokemon that would actually be effective as the champion. But the main reason, other than the design and its overall usefulness, is its personality in the anime. When I was younger, I watched a lot of the XY and XYZ anime, and that show influenced a lot of my taste in Pokemon. And Unwavering is one of the many Pokemon I became attached to because of that season of the Pokemon anime. My second member will be my personal favorite electric type, Luxray, which is a very generic thing to say, but I don't care, because Luxray is a generic choice for favorite electric type for a reason! Before Pyroar, Luxray was arguably the closest thing we had to a lion Pokemon, even though it's based on a lynx. Unlike Unwavering, my love of Luxray actually doesn't come from the anime, but just because of how much I loved using it in my first Sinnoh playthrough. Also, look at it. It looks... What's a word that conveys the idea that it looks awesome that I haven't used yet? Shocking. Luxray looks shocking, and that is why I love it. The next member of my team will be my trusty Talonflame. This is yet another case of the nostalgies, but I firmly believe that even if I wasn't a huge fan of Ash's Talonflame, it would still be one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, maybe even my all-time favorite Pokemon. Despite my name being Arkthepenguin, penguins are actually my second favorite animal. I know, I have sinned. My favorite animal is easily the peregrine falcon, and the fact that Talonflame is literally a peregrine falcon that moves so fast it creates fire. Literally, the only thing I dislike about Talonflame is its name. Talonflame isn't the worst name in Pokemon, and it's definitely not as bad as others make it out to be, but I still think that Talonflame deserved something so much better. Something with cauterized would be the ideal name origin for me. My next Pokemon is my personal favorite grass-type, Sceptile. I had a hard time choosing between this and Decidueye, and while Decidueye is probably my favorite grass-type design-wise, and I have an amazing memory of my Decidueye hood, one-shotting Ultra Necrozma on my first time battling it, I'm not making that up, that's true, that actually happened, nobody's gonna believe me, and it's gonna make me really upset, but it did happen! Sceptile has more personal attachment, plus it still looks absolutely incredible. I didn't actually watch the Hoenn anime when I was younger. I started with Kanto, then Johto, skipped Hoenn, and went straight into Sinnoh. In fact, the first time I ever saw Ash's Sceptile was whenever it faced off against Tobias. But even though I love Ash's Sceptile, my love of Sceptile comes from my second and third playthrough of Hoenn. My first playthrough, I chose Torchic and restarted the game halfway through because I wanted a Trico. My second playthrough, I actually started with Trico, but then got to the Elite Four and resetted it again for some reason. I don't know why I did that, but I did do it. Now, my third and most recent playthrough had one of my all-time favorite teams that I have had, and the MVP was none other than my Sceptile. The fifth Pokemon I will send out will be none other than my second favorite Pokemon of all time, Infernape. First off, just look at it. Infernape, in my opinion, has got to be the coolest ape in all of fiction. I also think it probably has the coolest origins of any of my favorite Pokemon. It's based on Sun Wukong, who is one of the most powerful characters in Chinese literature from the novel Journey to the West. You can clearly see the resemblance, and not just because they're both monkeys, but also because white symbolizes purity and divinity in Chinese culture. And that is what the white on Infernape is supposed to represent. Purity. And since Sun Wukong is meant to be both a divine and pure being, so is Infernape. And that's just really cool to me. I also loved using it in my first Sinnoh playthrough, and similar to Sceptile, it was my MVP. But my absolute favorite thing about Infernape is easily its presence in the show. Now, I'm not going to say anything about Infernape in the anime simply because you have to go in blind for maximum enjoyment, and people who have seen it will probably agree with me. And my final Pokemon will be my most trustworthy ally, my closest friend, the Pokemon that I started with my starter, my best friend, because I don't have any friends anymore, Greninja. Now, before everyone has a seizure because
that's not original, you're so boring, I'm disliking it.
Please wait to hear my reasoning, which you will not hear in this video. I'm sorry, but it's too long a story to fit into this video, so please be patient for a top 10 favorite Pokemon video or something like that. Once you've beat me, Kalos blows up because I had a nuke planned to hit Kalos if I ever lost and you die. And so the moral of this story is, I'm easily the best Pokemon champion because if I lose then the world literally commits seppuku.